So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again for a joint meeting along with IMA Thrissur and ISA. Respected President Dr. Joy Manjula, my very close friend and the chairman of the WDW, Dr. Sharmila, friends from the Junior Doctors Network, the guest of today's evening, Dr. Tanmay Motiwala, who is a pediatric surgery resident from Jodhpur, AIMS, honorable senior members of the profession, respected faculty members, my dear colleagues, friends, ladies and gentlemen. ISA and IMA together have been in the forefront of hosting quite a number of interesting topics which are being of great use in the daily life of doctors. Actually, I am sure that all those people who have been attending these meetings regularly, I think there has been a lot of change in their socio-economic as well as their financial domain. So today, the whole work is being done by my secretary, Dr. Arun Krishna, who needs no introduction, and he works with twin engines. So with one single word, I don't want to speak. So with these words, I welcome each and every one of you to today's meeting. Thank you and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, Dr. Nevin. Now we move on to the presidential address by Dr. Joy Manjula. Sir.
Thank you, Dr. Sharmila. A warm good evening to all and welcome to this today's topic on financial literacy awareness session experience. This is a continuing process we are combining with ISA Thrissur City branch, and architect, as Dr. Nevin said, the architect of this program is Dr. Arun Krishna, Secretary of ISA Thrissur City branch, who is also very active in IMA Thrissur. Also is the CGP secretary also in Thrissur. So I am not prolonging this. I appreciate the good work Dr. Arun and team are doing in the improvement of the financial literature or financial education of the doctors, modern doctors, who are far behind in this field. And I'm not prolonging my speech, and I conclude inviting the faculty and all to this program. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Joy. I think I'll speak a few words. I'm Dr. Sharmila, chairperson of the WDW IMA Thrissur. And what I have to say is that we were all taught a few science subjects and history and geography, but never finance. We were all only taught to how to earn money and not how to manage it. So doctors are the backbenchers in financial literacy. And now we have Dr. Tanmay, who is being both a doctor and a finance genius. He's sure to pick our interests. Welcome all. Thank you. Today is gonna be a revelation to all of us. Thank you. Over to you, Dr. Soumya, for introduction of the faculty. Soumya.
Dr. Soumya, are you around? Dr. Soumya, are you around?
Yes, doctor. Yes. So I would like to introduce Dr. Tanmay Motiwala, who is currently working with the Department of Pediatric Surgery with AIMS Jodhpur. And Tanmay does research in surgery and pediatrics, also known as a young doctor who is on a mission to help medicos to attain financial literacy. Thank you, Tanmay, for agreeing for this wonderful program for doctors naming financial. Over to you, doctor.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone, and I would like to thank all the panelists here, Dr. Nivin sir, Dr. Arun sir, Dr. Joy sir, Sharmila ma'am, Soumya, and all the participants who have joined in. Thanks for inviting me over. And I would like to just share my screen. Okay. Okay. So without further prolonging the introduction part, I just begin the session like, have you ever seen or heard from any of your peer or any of the other doctor that we earn only for our kids? We keep on studying entire life. We have a very exhaustive curriculum that is there, and by the time we start earning, it's often too late as compared to the other branches that is there. And the work is so exhausting that we usually don't have time for our kids, our family. We have so much of sacrifices. So the entire gist of the session that we are going to have today is I'll ensure that you all have sufficient amount of knowledge so that you never tell your next generation that you earn only for your kids. Medicos are there who can we will just basically learn how to make our money work for us while we are still working, so that it's often said that time is money, but to have adequate time for yourself, you need money. And if you're having a decent amount of corpus that is there, and you can basically earn time for yourself. So I'll just tell very short about how my journey began. When I started my residency at the age of 23, I joined pediatric surgery in direct 6 years branch. And I used to work 2-3 days on a trot. And if there are young residents out there listening to me, they would definitely correlate how exhaustive the residency is, how difficult the duties are to begin in those days. And I had my first salary, and therein I had a big tax cut of around, I think, 15,000-20,000. And I was very sad that why am I paying so much taxes? Because I'm working day in and out. I should probably save taxes that on the salary that I'm getting. And this is when I called my cousin, who happens to be a CA, and I asked him, bro, tell me like how to save taxes. And he told me that you can put in some money in ELSS and some money in PPF. Now, the people, who have started their financial journey or some kind of saving, they would know that PPF is something that we all doctors do so commonly, but we don't know that there is a 15 years of lock-in period. The amount of return that we get, what is the implication of that amount of return that we are getting? And that happened with me as well, because PPF was some word that I had listened to, but the other word, ELSS, I had no clue what that was. And this is when I started Googling out there. I troubled him quite often with my queries on what different kinds of funds are, how to pick a mutual fund and those kind of things. He used to get annoyed with me. And I came across a video of Warren Buffett at that time. And those who know, Warren Buffett is someone who is among the top 10 richest person in the world, and he has earned such a great amount of wealth just by investing that people say that if a $100 note falls from his pocket, he need not pick it up, because his money is compounding or multiplying at such a rate that every second $100 would be nothing for him. So I was like, how is this possible that someone can make a crazy amount of money from investing? And this is when I started learning about Warren Buffett, his teacher Benjamin Graham that was there, what was his ideology. Then came to know about Charlie Munger, Peter Lynch. There are lots of greats. I'll share books at the end for the people who want to begin in. So this is where I began my financial journey. And one thing I realized was, we doctors are, as Dr. Sharmila was also telling us, we doctors are perfect. We are very amazing people in earning money, but we don't know how to put that money to work. And this is why we face so much of the heat of not having time for ourselves. So if we are to put our money to work early in our life, then you will see how money grows and how insane amount of wealth can be created by ourselves. So I'll just give an idea, why investing is so important is, if I were to tell you the value of 1 lakh rupees expense that you are having today after 40 years, I'm considering someone who is around 20s, who is sitting here, or someone around 30s or 40 sitting here, and probably the next generation you are saving the wealth, or for your retirement, or whatever reason you are saving the wealth that is there. The value of 1 lakh rupee monthly expense after 40 years, if I'm considering a 6% inflation, it would be around 10.2 lakh. Okay, this 1 lakh expense would become 10.28 lakh, and to have 10.28 lakh per month in your account, because you would not be having the active source of income at that time. You would want to get it from the
Can hear you. Shall I share my screen?
Yes, sure.
Thank you.
Should I continue?
Yes, yes, please.
So if I were to keep, if I want to get 10.28 lakh per month, I would have to keep 14 crore rupees in FD in my account. Just imagine, does this make you fear? Will you be able to make 14 crores by the time you want to retire? Or if I were to make it simple, if you were to start today and you want to retire after 40 years, how much money should you keep in a monthly basis? How much should you deposit in your bank so that you will get that amount of money by 40 years? This would be somewhere around 40,000, provided that you are getting an interest rate of 8%. Okay. Now, if you are smart, I'll tell about what Nifty is, what is CAGR, and what all those things are. But if you're smart enough and you are able to, make your money, put money in a smart way, and if you're able to generate 15%, then that money comes down to 4,500 rupees. Can you see the difference of 40,000 and 4,500? And if you're able to get a 17% return, then probably you just need to put in 2,300 rupees. And this is very much doable for any kind of salary. Even a resident can do that, even an intern can do that. And imagine having a 2 lakh rupees gift from your parents and using that gift plus the 17% return that you're getting. You will just have to put in 500 rupees for 40 years, and you will be able to reach this amount of money that I told. Now, I'm not supposed to scare you, but this is the reason why we need to learn investing, because if we are not guarding our wealth against inflation, then our money will keep on depreciating or keep on decreasing over a period of time. And this is where the problem comes in. Now, let me show a very crazy example of compounding of money. Okay, I'm not telling you how this I'm doing this. Probably if the time permits, I can even show on paper, and I'll need to discuss some things. But just I'm telling you, there is a method we follow wherein you just follow some ratios. PE ratio is a thing wherein we see how markets are expensive or cheap, and we just try to invest when the market is cheap and take out the money when the market is expensive. Now, if you are to do this from 1999 to 2010, anyone who has been in market, just take a screenshot. If you want, I can prove it later how this amount of money can be made. Okay, so 1999 to 2010, if you were to do this process, buy sell without a great amount of knowledge, with just a basic amount of knowledge, I would be making my wealth 33 times in 11 years. Now, what does this 33 times in 11 years mean? Is at the age of 20, if you start doing this, if you put 1 lakh rupees, it would become 33 lakh by the age of 30 years. Now, this is not the fun part. The fun part begins when you have a decent amount of corpus. Now, next 10 years, if you're still able to do that, I'm not saying this is a fixed return thing, but let's assume for simplicity that if you are able to achieve that, then at the age of 40 years, you will be having 9 CR. And at the age of 50 years, if again you are able to do that same thing that you had done previously, you will be having 270 crore rupees just by investing 1 lakh rupees. Is this even possible? When I saw this thing, my head blew off that I have been working day in and out, and there is someone who can make this amount of crazy wealth just by investing and reinvesting 1 lakh rupees. So what am I doing? Am I doing something wrong? So this is where the curiosity came in, and I started doing this. So most people will think that I am bluffing, but this is not there. we'll learn today how to do it. So first I gave an idea about why should I invest. Now I'll tell you a little bit more about it, and then we'll learn the concept of doubling time. Then we'll see how the returns vary on bank versus different instruments wherein we invest. What is compounding actually, that we'll learn. What is Sensex Nifty that I keep on seeing every day in the TV. Some people are talking about Sensex Nifty. What is that? What is mutual fund? How to classify mutual fund? Then this crazy compounding I did tell you just now. And then we'll see what are the goals of investing. How will we have the important goals of the life achieved by investing? What are our expectation of returns? What are the prerequisites of investing? What should I have in when I begin my investing journey? What are the things that I should not do? That is also very important. So this is something I do stress a lot on whenever I talk about financial literacy. Then we'll see how to construct our portfolio. And then if time permits, I'll talk about current market scenario for anyone who has joined in, who is intermediate or expert. For that, we'll discuss that. Can the market go down from here? You must have heard that the markets are bleeding. The investors has lost lakhs of crores of wealth. Now, is this a good time to enter? Should I sell? What should I do? Can I invest in markets right now? If so, where should I invest? What is my approach? What are the apps that I use to invest money? What are the mutual funds I own? What is my portfolio allocation that is there? I'm not going to tell the name of stocks, but I'll tell you what my allocation is and some money hacks I'm going to tell you at the end. Okay, so just stay till the end. Just a disclaimer that I'm not a SEBI certified advisor. So entire session is there for knowledge purpose only, and the stocks that I discuss, if I discuss any name in the session, then this is not an investment advice, and this is just purely for knowledge purpose. So another thing that I would give a disclaimer is, whenever you want to make quick money in the market, often I believe that there is no quick money in the market. But if you believe that there is quick money, then you'll either have to take high risk, or you will have to have a very in-depth knowledge about the thing that you are investing in, or it's a full-time job. The people who want to do intraday, buying in the morning, selling in the evening, who want to do futures, options, those kind of things, those things are not for us. Today, what we'll do is we'll see is low risk pathway to have a stupendous amount of wealth. We don't want risk to be amplified for us. We want a low risk path which can be followed easily by all the people. Now let me give you 2 rules of investing. Okay, never ever forget this. This is the rule that I have been forgetting, and whenever any someone comes up to me and asks me, do you want to invest in this, do you want to invest in this, I just see this 2 rules of investing that are there. And this is the rule that Warren Buffett also had been following. And you can see the amount of wealth that he has created for himself. The first rule is don't lose capital. Okay, we are not going to invest in anything wherein we can lose our capital. Suppose I'm investing 1 lakh rupees. I don't want it to be in any asset wherein I wipe out 1 lakh or 2 lakh or 4 lakh or 5 lakh. The worst scenario should be I should get my capital back. And the second rule of investing is do not forget the rule number 1. Okay. So basically, we are just having 1 rule of investing, that is you are not supposed to lose your capital. Okay, this is thing you will get tempted when you start learning, but don't compromise on this rule. If I say I haven't made a loss in the last 5 years, you will say you must be kidding or something like that. But over a period of time, if you follow this rule, you're not going to make losses. Losses come in when you start getting tempted or you break this rule. Yeah. So those who want to follow this, my principles are based on Warren Buffett's principle, which I told the rule that I talked about. And if anyone wants to read, you can read this book, Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham. It's by, the person who Warren Buffett considered as guru. So this book is really nice, but again, it can be difficult when you are beginning. You can read Letters to Shareholder by Berkshire Hathaway. Berkshire Hathaway is the company which is owned by Warren Buffett. So they do write in letters every year to the investors, wherein they teach basics of how they are doing things. Those are very enlightening letters. If you have time, or if you are beginning, I would highly recommend to read this. Okay. And the last thing I would say is follow any principle that you understand. Okay, nothing is wrong until unless it makes money for you. But this is the principle that has worked for me, that has worked for lots and lots of people. So this is what we follow, and this is what I am gonna share some light on today. And I'm not going to teach trading or intraday or those kind of things today. So yeah, why should you invest? If you are seeing any business news or something, you will see that the inflation rates are climbing. And now what does this mean for a common versus the rates of raw material or the common commodities that are out there, be it tomato, lemon, onion, anything, it can be anything, or cement, or steel, or anything, whichever we are consuming, those rates are rising in. Now what does this imply is the buying power of 10 rupees that I showed. We began the session wherein I showed the buying power of 1 lakh would need again somewhere around 10 lakh after 40 years. So this is what inflation does to us. The buying power won't be same. So what we want is recent inflation rates are somewhere around 7.8 to 8%. And if I want to have a secure future, I need to earn this amount of return which is more than inflation rate. Is this clear to everyone? I want to invest in a way so that I beat inflation. That is my entire target. I am not there to compete with anyone out there. Someone made 100 crores, someone made 5 crores, someone made loss. I'm not there to compete with anyone. I just want a secure future for myself. That's my goal. But if I'm keeping in bank saving account, you will say, Tanmay, what's the problem in keeping in bank saving account? The problem is you are just getting a return of 3.5 to 5%, which is less than inflation that is there. So what does this mean is, if the inflation is around 8% and you're getting a savings bank account interest of around 3.5 or 5%, basically you are decreasing, your money is depreciating by 3% every year. That is, you're losing your money. That's the layman thing, that if I were to tell this, even if you are putting in FD rates, if you see FDs in the major banks that are out there, it is not more than 5%. Some smaller banks you may get 6% or a 6.5 or a 7%. Again, are you able to beat the inflation? Almost you will be at par or below the inflation. So if putting entire money is in FD is not going to help. And I'm telling you, there are so many people who would be listening to us today. They may be having tens of lakhs in FDs, the money that they don't need, and that money is doing nothing. That money is giving eggs. We are not saying FD is bad. We are saying that FD needs to be in proportion with other instruments wherein we are effectively generating a return that is able to beat the inflation that is there. For PPF, PPF gives a return, it keeps on changing over a period of time, but somewhere it is around 7.2 to 7.5%. Now you see, it is having a 15 years of lock-in period, although after 7 years you can take out the money. We are not going into details of PPF right now, but can you see the entire money is put at the beginning and you can't take that money out if you need it. So is it a good investment? It is a bad investment. That is for you to judge. We'll see as we proceed with the session. Now, if you invest in stock markets, and now this is the historical returns of Nifty that I'm sharing with you. So Nifty has given me somewhere around 14 to 16% of return over the span of 30 years plus. So now what does this percentage mean? Why am I stressing so much on the percentage or the rate of return that is there? Why am I troubling you all with some numbers while we all are, people who took biology because we hated maths, we hated numbers, but again, numbers are chasing us. So this is where the concept of doubling time comes in. Now, what does this doubling time means is, if you want to calculate the years in which your money will double, this is the rough rule wherein you can calculate it. It is given by 72 divided by n, where n is the rate of return. Okay, so if I were to say you are investing in PPF and getting a return of 7.2%. Now, what does this mean is 72 divided by 7.2. This my money will double in 10 years. Okay. 14% return means my money would double in 5 years. 5% somewhere around, if we are getting somewhere around 5%, then probably 14-15 years will we take to double our money. Now, what does this mean is, if you are comparing bank versus somewhere wherein you are getting a return of 14%, I'm considering in bank you're getting a return of 4%, your money will double in 18 years. 18 years it will take for you to double your money in bank versus if you are generating a return of 14%, you will double your money in 5, you'll become 4 times in 10, you'll become 8 times in 15 years, and in it will take you 20 years where it'll become 16 times. 16 times versus 20 years, you are just becoming 2x. See the stark difference. This is called a smart money. If I'm able to generate a return of 14%, I'm becoming 16 times versus my friend who's working day in and out, earning a lot amount of money, but then he's just generating a 2x return in 20 years. I'm 8 times more by doing nothing, just by making smart money. Okay. So this is what the implication of doubling time and the rate of return that we talked about. Now I have, I started my session with compound interest term. Now, what does this mean is some people, quote it as the quote said by Einstein. I don't know who said it, but it is, Einstein says that it is the eighth wonder, the one who understands it, earns it, the one who doesn't pays it. How do you, correlate this with an example is lots of my friends are out there who are buying cars. I'm not saying car is a bad investment. If you buy a car worth 15 lakh and during a residency when you don't need it, I'm not saying, again, not demotivating anyone who has purchased a car, but then what would be the value of car after 1 year? Can anyone say it is more than 15 lakh? No, it would be somewhere around 14 lakh. After 5 years, it will even depreciate more. It would become somewhere around 10 lakh, 8 lakh, 7 lakh. But if you are able to, give up that temptation to buy a car or some expensive thing, and you are investing in mutual funds, this is where you start earning that compound interest, and probably you can double your money. We saw how you can get a 16x in 20 years. So if you can double your money fast, then probably you can buy a better car later or something like that. Okay, so I say that EMI is a very big trap that we all very easily fall into. It's better to invest in instruments wherein our money is increasing rather than where the money is decreasing. So what is the right time to start, Dr. Tanmay? I say that I started my journey at 23 years and I was 23 years late. So the right time to start was yesterday. The next right time to start is today. So please don't wait for anyone. It's good time that if someone is 40, you think I am late. No, you're not late. You're still early. You can start your journey today. If you're 50, you can still start your journey. So make time your friend. The earlier you start, I have been taking these sessions. Now I have, students who are 15, 16, 18, 20, they have started investing. They have started their SIPs. They have started their mutual fund investing. They have started learning. This is what will make a difference. I'll give you an example. Okay. If anyone is, interested, they can go and calculate it later in Excel. A person A starts investing at 18 years. Okay. This very simple example, person A starts at 18 years, he invests for 8 years, 18 to 26. Okay. He invests 50,000 per year, every year. And after that, he says, I have one life, you see those hashtags, YOLO. I don't want to, keep saving money. I want to enjoy my life. And this is what what crept into his mind. And he said that I am not going to invest any further penny into this, but he didn't take out the money that he invested. There is person B who starts investing at the journey of 26 years. Okay. Now from 26 years till 60 years, 34 years, he invests same amount, 50,000 per year. Okay. Now, if I consider that both are getting same amount of return, then what do you think? Person A will have more money or person B at the age of 60 years? Now, what appears is like a person who has invested for 34 years should have more amount of money. But this is the power of compounding, that the person who started 8 years back would have double the amount of money that the person B is having. And this is why I say start your investing journey very early. Start as early as you can. So don't think that if you are having a stipend of around 10,000 or 15,000 or 20,000 or 45,000, you can't start your journey. You can start with very small amount. And if you see the formula of compounding, this is T here. The T is exponential, and T stands for number of time periods elapsed. So if you can make time your friend, your money will multiply exponentially, and the more early you start, the crazy amount of wealth that you are going to make. But Dr. Tanmay, you have been talking about stock market. You have been talking about Sensex, Nifty. What are this? What is Sensex? What is Nifty? Okay, so NSE stands for National Stock Exchange. Okay, it stands for National Stock Exchange. And if someone had read PSM, if you remember those indices that we used to calculate at that time, annual parasitic infestation rate or infectivity rate or those kind of rates. So it is just a rate, that index that is there of NSE, National Stock Exchange. This is called as Nifty. Now, what does this NSE comprise of is the top 50 companies of India. Okay, the top 50 companies, most of the people know Reliance is a very big player, TCS is there, HDFC Bank is there, ITC is there. So they are ranked upon, and the top 50 companies that are there, they make the Nifty 50. Okay, the second index that is there in our country is BSE, or the Bombay Stock Exchange. Bombay Stock Exchange, the index for this is Sensex. Okay, now what does this comprise of is top 30 companies. Now this comprises of top 30 companies, and Nifty comprises of top 50 companies. Now what the difference is there in between these two is the top 30 companies stays the same in both, basically. Okay, the next 20 companies are added in the Nifty 50. Now, why I'm telling about Nifty 50 or Sensex or these things is, this top 50 companies, they have such a great weightage on our GDP, or the gross domestic product that is there. They make almost 90% of the GDP, 90%. Okay. Now, what does this imply? Now, if I say, are you living a better life than your previous generation? What do you think? Are you living a better life than your previous generation? Are you going more into resorts? Are you going more into vacations? Are you consuming more branded things like clothes, mobile phones, the things that our parents would not have expected us to buy? And what do you think? Will our next generation consume more or less? If the answer to that is yes, then if the next generation consumes more, what do you think would be the companies that would make the most amount of money out of this? So I said 90% of the GDP almost is comprised by the top 50 companies. So if I say those top 50 companies would be the one that would be making the most amount of money if the next generation lives a better life. So if you are believing that the next generation will live a better life than our generation, then I can say you can just buy this top 50 companies and sit. And this is what is the concept of index investing. This is called as index. So there are two indexes in India. One is Nifty 50 and the other is Sensex. Okay. And you know how they are ranked? This is called as market capitalization or a market cap. Okay. There is this term. What does this imply is, so I said Reliance is number one today. I said probably TCS is number two, HDFC Bank is number three. This is just, I don't know the exact sequence. Reliance is one, the sequence may vary. These are the top 10 companies that are there. Now, how do they rank it? They rank it on the basis of market capitalization. This is calculated by number of shares into price of one share. So it doesn't depend. When the people who have started investing, they will say a 50 rupees stock is cheaper, a 2000 rupees stock is an expensive one. But does it imply that a 50 rupees company, the company whose stock price is 50 rupees is a smaller company, or the company whose stock price is 2000 rupees is a bigger company? It doesn't mean that. So if that 2000 rupees company is just having say 10 shares, then it would become 20,000 market cap. And suppose that 10 rupee company is suppose having 20 lakh shares, then it becomes somewhere around 2 CR. So that company becomes bigger one. So never, again, this message is for the people who are also into investing, who have been investing. Never judge a company by its share price. Okay, you always have to see the market capitalization, and this is how they are ranked in this thing that is there. Now, why I said about index investing is, this is Warren Buffett says the amount of knowledge required to money over a long period of time is literally zero. Literally zero knowledge is required to make money over a long time. Now, what happened is, there are different kinds of mutual funds that are there. Some people, experts are there. Warren Buffett has a very famous bet, $1 million bet with those mutual fund managers. He said it is practically difficult to, make a lot of amount of money, which is more than the index top 50 companies. We said this top 50 companies are there. So Warren Buffett says that how can you pick the winners all the time? These people, the mutual fund managers, they say that I am going to make more amount of money than index, by picking only the winners. So what happens is, there are different companies, 1, 2, 3, 4, we'll rank them. So say 1 is a winner, 2 is a winner, 3 has a negative returns, 5 has a negative returns. So what this mutual fund managers say is, we'll kick out this losers and we'll buy only the winners. And what will this do is, we'll probably get, I said, last 30 years return of Nifty was around 14 to 16% average. So they say we'll probably get 18 or a 20%. Now, what is the implication of 18-20%? We understood 18% means we'll double our money in 4 years. Okay, 25% mean we'll double our money in 3 years. So what Warren Buffett did was, he had $1 million bet. He said, even if you buy an index fund over a long period of time, you can beat most of the mutual fund managers. Okay. Now they had this bet going on for 5 to 10 years, something. And then what happened was, Warren Buffett beat all the mutual fund managers that were there. And he said, if you want to invest over a long period of time, and if you want to make money, you just buy index fund and you do nothing. So this is for people who are very lazy, but who still want to make a lot of amount of money, who don't want to do research at all. What you need to do is, you need to buy a index fund. Now, what does this index fund mean? I told you, we'll be buying Sensex, we'll be buying Nifty, preferably we'll be buying the top 50 companies that are there. Now, there will be some smart person who would say, Dr. Tanmay, you said, let's buy the top 50 companies, but what if there is a nuclear war? There is a war going on between Ukraine and Russia. And what if there is a COVID-like crisis again? What if this company start failing? I said, we are buying a basket. We are not buying a single company. The chances of one company failing is more as compared to the entire basket that is failing. Now, let's assume a hypothetical scenario wherein all the 50 companies fail. Now, what does this mean? That the 90% of the GDP these companies were making, these companies, how do they grow? They take loans from the bank. Now, if all these 50 companies are failing, will they be able to pay the loan that they took from the banks? No. If they don't pay the loans that are there, will these banks, when you go to the bank to give my money back, there is a crisis going on, will these banks would be able to give the money that is there? No, they won't be able to give the money. Okay. So this is why we say index investing is a better form of investing for a know-nothing investor. So how are we mitigating the risk in this? One is, we are not buying a single stock. We are buying the entire basket. We believe that the entire basket failing, the chances are very rare. It may fail for a short time, but we are planning a long-term thing. That's why we are probably hedging the risk that is there. Second term we keep on hearing is SIP. Now, what does SIP mean is, it is a systematic investment plan. Okay. It is a systematic investment plan. Now, what does this mean? Systematic investment plan is basically what you are doing is, say, I'll give you some data like Jan, Feb, March, April. So now what you do is, instead of using your mind, so what happens? Suppose in March there is a crash. Okay. Now you're investing on your own. Now in March you will feel, oh, I won't be able to make money. There is a market crash. I should not invest in those kind of things. Your mind will start playing tricks. So what we do is, in order to eliminate all the emotions that are out there, we invest, suppose, say, a 10th of every month, 10th. Now, this method of investing on a fixed interval over a period of time, this is called a systematic investment plan. Now, can I do a systematic investment plan in stocks also? Can I buy stocks on systematic investment? Definitely. Systematic investment plan is just a method wherein we are averaging things. So we say, over a long period of time, I said that Nifty has given a return of 14% somewhere around average in the last 30 years. So this is how, if you want to get that amount of return, you just do a SIP or the systematic investment plan on a fixed date of month over a long period of time. Probably you will be able to get somewhere around that. Again, past returns are not a guarantee of future returns, but this is what the market has given in past as well. Now, why I say that index will keep on growing at a decent rate of 12 to 14%, inflation is going at 6% and the GDP is around 6 to 8%, somewhere around that. So what do you think, if some company is there out there to do a business, will it do a business just to beat the inflation number that is there, or it would want to have some extra earnings that is there, wherein they can use that money to grow further, where they'll use that money as a salary for themselves, where they'll use that money to pay the bills that are there for the rented land that is there, the electricity bills and those kind of things. So this 6% is inflation, and this additional growth that is there, this is why we say that the index will keep on growing at a rate of 12 to 14%. This is the concept of index investing that I have told you. Now, assuming that you are able to get a return of around 12% on a if you have invested 500 rupees, now see how compounding works. This is just an example to show how, over a period of time, the amount of wealth that you are investing stays the same, but the money keeps on multiplying very fast the moment you increase the time frame. See, if I invest 500 rupees for 10 years, it will make 60,000 rupees that I've invested. The end value becomes 1,12,000. Okay. Now, if I increase by 5 years, now what did I do? In the next 5 years, I invested 30,000 more. This becomes 90,000, but the end value becomes 2,37,000. Again, 1 lakh growth in the next 30,000 almost. Okay. Now, assuming I'm not withdrawing the money, again, I am investing 30,000 more. 30,000 more. This money becomes 4,59,000. Can you see? Almost 2 lakh now. This is the power of time that we are going to utilize in the journey that we are having. 25 years, you're investing again 30,000 more, but now this becomes almost 8.5 lakh. Almost 4 lakh you are getting more. With the same 30,000 that you're investing, you're not changing even the amount. And this is the power of compounding that I want every one of you to understand and utilize it. And if suppose you are using 10,000 per month for, this is a salary that, which every one of us can save. And if you are able to generate a 12% CAGR, in a span of 20 years, you will invest 24 lakh and you will generate almost 1 CR. Can you see this? Just by smart investing, I'm saying 12%. I'm not even saying 14%. By 12% for 20 years, just invest 10,000 rupees. And this is what I have started doing in my family as well. Now, when a baby is born in my family, or if I want to gift someone in my family, I give them index fund. I give them 20,000 rupees index. I give them SIP or something like that. So that money keeps on growing. And just imagine if your parents had invested 10,000 rupees for 20 years, by the time you are right now, you would have been coming in a Audi or a BMW. You'll be having crores of rupees. This is how, by investing small chunk of money over a disciplined, long period of time, you are making a great amount of wealth. See, I'm not doing stock research here. I'm not buying lots of companies. I'm not reading balance sheets. I'm not reading those charts or buying, selling anything. I'm just doing SIP. And this is what I mean to say when I say the knowledge required to make money over a long period of time is literally zero. I'll just give a very brief insight about mutual funds, because there are people who have just started investing, and when they open the tab, you will go in some website like Money Control, or you will go in some website like Value Research, or you'll just go in Google and type best mutual fund. This is the thing we begin with. I want to buy the best mutual fund, but how do you know which is the best mutual fund out there? And there will be a big list of 100 funds that are there, and you're like, oh my God, what is this horrible thing that has come in front of me, and how to choose? So basically, the regulatory body that is there, SEBI, which regulates the entire market, they have given notice to this mutual fund managers that, okay, please simplify this. You have to give this mutual funds under these 4 headings only. They are not supposed to, give complicated headings that are there. This is like a classification of cephalosporin, you'll get confused, the first generation, second generation. So this is what SEBI did. And, they have classified equity. I'll give you this definition. Equity means, company's profit, your profit. Company's loss, your loss. So whenever you are investing in an equity kind of mutual fund, it means that if a company gets 20% return, you will get a 20%. Company gets 40, you get 40. Company gets 100%, you get 100%. But if company gets minus 20, you'll have to face that also. You'll get minus 20. So companies plus, your plus, companies minus, your minus. Okay. Now this equity mutual fund, again, it is divided into small criteria like large cap funds, small cap funds, mid cap funds. So large cap funds are the ones whose market capitalization that I talked about is more than somewhere around 20,000 crores. So these are very big companies, very big companies. Now just tell me, the chances of big companies failing is more or small companies failing is more? Just by common logic, the smaller companies will have to take more risk. So the chances of those companies failing are more. So what I say is, whenever you're investing, just have an insight. If you're investing in a small cap fund, you're taking a higher risk. The fluctuations in the market would be more. Your mutual fund will also have more fluctuations. So please do see, whenever you are buying a mutual fund, large cap is the one that is having the big chunk of companies. big bros are there. The mid cap is somewhere around 5,000 crores to 10,000, 15,000 crore companies. Small caps are the ones that are less than 5,000 crore companies. These are very small companies. Then there is another thing called as thematic funds. These are very high risk funds. Again, if you don't have knowledge, please don't venture into this. Just know your risk appetite and then go into it. Then there is hybrid. I'll tell this after a point of time. Then there's debt fund. Now, what does debt mean is company's profit, your profit is limited. Company's loss, still your profit is limited. Now, what does this mean? This is something like a FD or something like a fixed return thing. Okay, debt means somewhere around 6.5 to 7% or a 7.5% based on the fund that you are choosing. This would be the amount of return. So if a company makes 100% return, you still get a 7.5 or a 6%. Now, this is for the people who are having less risk appetite, but you still want to have some near inflation returns or slightly more than returns which are more than the inflation. Now, for a people like me or a people who person who has become a smart investor like you now, who would be after this session would be slightly a smarter investor, what you will do is we'll build a portfolio. So what we'll do is, according to our age, we'll have equity allocation, we'll have debt allocation. Now, what will this do is we'll take some risk to have goals achieved in our life on time, and still will like to preserve the wealth that we are creating. So what we'll do is, by equity we'll start making wealth, we'll start transferring that wealth towards the debt as our age keeps on growing. This is the basic funda that we are doing. And there would be some even more smarter person like what would they do is, suppose you need a money in 3 months time. Now you don't want to do a FD because breaking a FD would penalize you for 1%, and this is a loss for you. So what you do is you park in ultra short debt funds. These are the funds that the maturity period is very less. So if you park your money in ultra short or short term debt funds, they don't have an exit. They don't charge you for taking the money out. You'll still get the amount of return, 4%, 5%, 6%, something like that. So the money you're keeping in bank, you're getting 3.5%. If you're parking your money in this, so I call this as a parking fund. So I have been using ultra short fund or a short term debt fund as a parking fund, wherein I use the surplus capital that is there that I don't need. Or suppose anyone is investing in market, they see that the market is very high, so they book their profits, they will keep this money here. Or they need the money for some trip after 5 months, they don't want to put in an FD, so they can park the money here. So this is a parking fund that is there. Hybrid is basically a mix of equity, mix of debt based on the allocation that is there. And ELSS is something wherein I'm going to give you a very nice money hack right now. This was something which has been helping me a big time. ELSS is called as equity linked savings scheme. Now, those who are filling your taxes, that this is something that comes under ATC, wherein you get an exemption of 1.5 lakh rupees. Okay, so if you are investing the money in ATC, under ATC, this is called as equity linked savings scheme, and you can get tax exemption up to 1.5 lakh. Now let's see the trick, the money hack that is there. So what I do is, when I began my residency journey, this is I told the story wherein my brother was telling you invest in ELSS. But ELSS is high risk. Okay, the equity allocation is somewhere around 98%. Risk is high, but I said I am very young, I can take risk. I don't need the money in near term. I need to save taxes. That's what I need. So what I started doing was, at T is equal to 1, I put 12,000 rupees. T is equal to second month, I put 12,000. At third month, I did 12,000. Now, can you see this is a SIP that I am doing? Can you see this? This is clear. 12,000 every month. Now I did this for T is equal to 36 for 36 months. Now in ELSS, there is another criteria for tax exemption that is there. You cannot take out that money for 3 years. 3 years. Okay. 3 years, you can't take that money out. 3 years is equal to 36 months. There is no calculation needed for that. So I did this for 36 months. Okay. Now at T is equal to 37, what happens is, this first 12,000 rupees that I had put in, this has completed 3 years. This has completed 3 years. Now I can take this money out. This is out of lock-in period. Now what I do is, I take the profits out, and this money is reinvested at 3 is equal to 37. So now after 3 years, I'm not investing any fresh money to save 1.5 lakh rupees tax. I'm getting the money out. I'm taking the profits out, and the other part of money that is there, I'm just plainly reinvesting. So now if you ask me, are you doing anything for ATC tax saving? I'm saying, like, I don't do anything. I just This is called a systematic withdrawal plan, SWP. I just do a systematic withdrawal plan. I reinvest that money out, 12,000, and take the profits out, invest in either index fund or park that money in. And recently I had a conference in Switzerland last year. The entire trip was sponsored by the profits that I got from this. Can you see? The entire Switzerland trip for me was sponsored by these profits that are out there. And this is the power, of smart money that is out there. And you can also try this. Again, this is high risk. But then, if you say that there is a market turmoil that is there, COVID like crash comes in, don't take out this money. You can still put in, you're having an active salary, you can still put in the extra money. And when the market is at a decent level, you can start taking that money out and take the profits out. And by doing this cycle, you can do it for infinity. Okay, you will be using this for tax saving. Now, why I said this was, there is another thing that you are using in ATC for tax saving, that is PPF. Now for PPF, the lock-in period is 15 years. Can you see 15 years lock-in period versus a lock-in period of 3 years? Can you see the difference? 15 years, you can't touch that money out. Returns. I got a return of somewhere around 20+%. I'm not saying that you'll always get it 20+%. I have been lucky at that time. I got 20+%. 20% means 3 years, 3.5 years, your money doubled. Now, what does in PPF 7.2% means? You will take 10 years to double. I say you get a 18% or a 15%. You are doubling in 5 years. In 10 years, you're becoming 4 times. In PPF, you would have become just a twice. Again, I'm not saying PPF is bad. For a person who wants to take lesser risk, it is good. But for a person who is young, for a person who has a decent amount of capital that is saved, you can use this money hack and you can save a decent amount of money. I hope you like this one. Okay. So how much return is good return? If you like that money hack, please drop a comment in. I don't want it to be a very dull one. I just want to see if you all are awake or not. Okay. So how much and if anyone knew of this trick prior, you can also share that. Okay. So how much return is good return? Someone says 20%, someone says 50%, 100%. How much should I actually chase? How should I know that whatever I'm doing is doing good or not, or is it a decent return? Anything that beats the inflation, mark my words, anything that beats the inflation, you are doing really good. You're still better than lots and lots of people that are out there, because they're keeping their money in banks that are fetching them eggs. They're keeping their money in FDs. Again, their money is depreciating. You're still appreciating your money. Beat inflation. You don't need anything. If you are able to get a 25%, you are able to convert this money in 3 years. You'll double. 6 years will become 4 times. In 9 years, you'll become 8 times. So this is what the good return is. Second, goal-based investing. What is goal-based investing? Is any money that you need in less than 5 years. So if I'm saying I'm in 2022 right now, for the money that you need for till 2027, don't invest that money in equity. Okay. Any money that you need for the next 5 years, don't invest in equity, because equity is having fluctuations. Market is never a straight line. There would be crashes. There would be bubbles that are there. And if there is some important goal that comes in, then you're in a soup. Okay. So this is what I say. Less than 5 years, don't park your money in equity. For more than 5 years, equity is the best thing you can have for yourself. Trust me, the returns that you can generate. And what I believe is, in the next 10 years, it would be a decade for India, wherein you can see a mother of bull run that may come in. The amount of wealth that can be generated would be insane. If anyone wants, I can reason that as well. So what was the return of Warren Buffett? Warren Buffett's return was 24%. 24%. What is CAGR? CAGR means compounded annual growth rate. Compounded annual growth rate. Now, what does this mean? On an average, say I am investing for 1 to 10 years. Okay. So whenever you are investing in equity, I said markets are never in a straight line. So you're never going to get, so Warren Buffett is having a 24%. You are not going to get 24, 24, 24, 24, 24. You may get a 48, you may get a -10, you may get a -50. And I'm telling this because if anyone opens letters to shareholder, Warren Buffett had years wherein -50% was also there. So if you are investing and if you have seen a -50%, don't worry. The greats are also having those downturns that are there in the market, and you can still make. Warren Buffett made such a crazy amount of money, so you can also do it. Okay. Then there is another person from India, Ramdev Agrawal. He is the founder of Motilal Oswal group. If anyone is having some mutual fund, they would know this Motilal Oswal group that is there. He has compounded at his wealth as a crazy rate of 28%. He is currently worth around 2,000 crores and something like that. He also started from 1 lakh or something. So now my question is, if it is so easy to make money, then why are the people losing money? You see, the first line you hear from the people who are not investing is stock market is a gamble. Don't enter in the stock market. You're going to lose your money. I lost 5 lakh, I lost 10 lakh and those kind of things. And here is Dr. Tanmay who's telling us that making money is so easy. How is this possible? Either one is bluffing, right? So I'll tell what are the ways where you can wipe out entire capital. So I said there are two rules of investing. One is don't lose the capital, and the second is don't forget the rule number 1. So I'll tell where the rule number 1 gets violated. Okay. Before that, I'll just tell you what are the prerequisites for investing. This is very important. Again, before you're beginning investing, or even if you're a very young age, have a term insurance for yourself. Now, this is the product that is so commonly missold to you. You'll come a LIC wala uncle. I'm with all due regards to LIC wala uncles that are there, who come to sell LIC policies. I'm not against them, but they'll come to you and tell you, first of all, they'll keep you catching every now and then. They'll ask you to get a LIC policy because they get benefits out of it. So they'll catch you in the hospital, they'll catch you at home, they'll keep on ringing you, they'll wish you on your birthdays. After getting the policy, they'll never wish. Okay, that's the thing. So what they do is they'll ask you to buy a policy wherein after 60 years, if you don't die, you'll get X amount of money, say a 30 lakh, 50 lakh, 1 crores. And versus a policy which they never sell, that is called as term plan, wherein if you die, you get the money. If you don't die, you don't get any money at all. Now, to a person who doesn't know maths, the person who doesn't know smart money is the person who thinks that, oh, I'm getting some money at the end. Okay, this is any day smart money, right? This is the thing which I should do. Why should I do a plan wherein I'm not getting any money if I don't die? The thing is, they'll charge you extra premium for that. The premium for the plan wherein this thing is called as ULIP. This is the most common missold product. ULIP is called as unit linked insurance plan. ULIP is called as unit linked insurance plan. Now, what does a common person understand is they basically mix insurance and investment. Insurance plus investing is called as ULIP. Now, what it does is it will, if you ask that LIC wala uncle, with due regards, okay, don't feel offended if anyone has some relative. So with all due regards, if you ask that uncle what is the return that you are generating, he won't tell you. If he tells you, it would be around 7 to 7.5% on the extra capital that you are allocating. Now, my smart money learned today that I can generate, by doing index investing, I can generate a 12 to 14%. Now, just imagine what if this person himself is doing that thing. He's giving you 7%, 5% extra money for him for doing nothing. He's just taking that money from you, parking that money in index. He'll generate a 12%, he'll give you 7%, you will be happy. The other person would be like, oh, I also made money, you also made money. But then you don't know. If you're smart enough, please don't buy ULIPs, buy a term insurance plan. Those are very cheap. I personally, purchased a term insurance plan for 5 lakh rupees for 2 crores. 2 crores plus 40 lakh. Okay. And this is giving me cover till 85 years. I don't want to live till 85 years. That's not my plan. So my family is secure. So the entire point of doing this term insurance exercise is your family should be secure. The entire investing exercise is, or the money that you're saving is for family. If that is not safe, then what's the point of investing? And what if, God forbid, something happens to you during the initial days of investing? Your family is not secure, right? They have invested so much in you. They are attached to you. They need you, right? So this is your responsibility towards your family, which you are clearing it. Buy a term insurance, not a ULIP. Second thing is health insurance. I know most of the hospitals will have their insurances covered by their respective hospitals. Do check if you are having all the diseases covered or not, or if not, please buy a very cheap health insurance plan. Those are about 10 lakh, 20 lakh. If you buy it at a young age, those insurance cover of 20 lakh would hardly charge you 12,000 per year. And the best part is you will get a tax exemption as well, which is over and above the 1.5 lakh that I talked about. This is the extra tax benefit that you are getting in that. And they have an air ambulance cost also worth 5 lakh rupees. You will have disposable costs also covered. And I think I'll not go into the details of health insurance, but this is just in a very superficial thing that I want to tell. And the third thing is emergency fund. Have at least 6 months of salary parked in as FD. This is where I also say FD is the best thing to do. Park your 6 months salary in FD. In case you lose your job, in case something unforeseen comes in, that money is there that can take care of your family and everything for 6 to 8 months, wherein you will sort a way out. So have an emergency fund. These things are there. So see, these are the things wherein people need to take out that money that is invested in equity. Say a market crashes during COVID. Okay, now someone who doesn't have a health insurance, suppose someone's family member is admitted in hospital, they want to take that money out, but that money is already in loss. This is where they're going to book a loss because they need that money. So if we are having these three things covered, we are well off those markets, volatility that is there. The other ways of losing money is currency. Anyone who knows you are buying dollar, selling dollar, those you are doing those things, that is currency. The other thing is commodity. Commodity came in wherein, suppose I am having a factory of potato and there is another company called as Lay's. Now I feel that I should increase the production, but what if there is no buyer? And what if Lay's thinks that next year the drought comes in, the production would be less, they would have to buy at a higher cost. So they used to have some agreement in between, and this is where the commodity market came in. But now what you do is you come in the market and you say, I am going to tell what is the price of potato tomorrow. How do you know what is the price of potato tomorrow or after 20 days? So this is where you start predicting things. This is pure speculation. You're going in, you're speculating. If that doesn't turn in, you lose capital. Options is also like that. When you make your Demat account, what happens is your person will call you. Okay, this Demat person or the bank wala fellow will call you. He'll say, Dr. Saab, you are amazing. You are the best person to pick stocks. You are very lucky. You started investing with 1 lakh rupees. Now you are generating a profit of 20,000 per month. What you do is please invest with 10 lakh rupees. Now you say, how is this possible? That person says, I am the sweetest person on earth. Even your wife or your partner is not sweeter than me. So what you do is, I'll give you 10 lakh rupees, holier than thou. And what you do is, you make that money. So 10x profit would be for you, 20,000 you're making, you will now start making 2 lakh. Now, effectively with a capital of 1 lakh, you're generating a profit of 2 lakhs. Now this thing appears like magic. How is this possible? Okay, now he doesn't tell you that if at all any day you make a loss, then you will have to pay from your pockets. So imagine a day wherein you make an entire loss, and this 10 lakh rupees that you took a margin that you took from that person, and you made a loss that day. This thing is going to vanish away. Then you have to pay 10 lakh. You don't have 10 lakh. You had only 1 lakh. Now this person is after you, sitting on your shoulder, asking for money and everything. This is where you make losses. Intraday is the thing. I'm not saying intraday is bad. Okay, it is for the people who are experts, who can spend day in and out reading the charts. I believe that we are doctors. We spend most of the time in hospitals. We don't get time for self only. So it's difficult to read those charts and those things. So if you are doing intraday, you are basically waking up in the morning and telling that, okay, Reliance is at 2,000 rupees. It will become 2,010 rupees tomorrow. How do you know? You don't have, that person who sits with me, he's an expert. He told me. Now he told you, is this the criteria to buy something? Your hard-earned money you're putting in like this. So this is where you start making losses. You are buying those stocks, or you're doing trading on tips, and this is where you start wiping out your capital. Random tips are the most common reasons. My uncle, or this is why I said, even if I take some name in the session, I'm not there to tell you a stock tip or something. I'm there to tell you how to catch a fish, and you can yourself catch a fish later. Okay, so buying on random stock tips without understanding what the business is, what are the prospects of the business, why is the price going on some particular direction, you're going to lose your capital. So please take a vow for a person who knows nothing. Please don't do any of these things. You won't lose your capital. Trust me with that. Okay. The other thing is penny stocks. Penny stocks are there. Penny stocks are the stocks that are called as the stocks that are 5 rupees, 8 rupees, 10 rupees. You think that the stock will never die. Now, those stocks, what happens is they can still get zero. It's not that the 8 rupee stock will never get zero. You buy 8 rupee stock thinking that the stock can, how much will it fall now? It is already 8 rupees. But still it will fall zero and you are wiped out. Don't do that. The other money hack that I want to give you, okay, the other money hack that I want to give you is on mutual fund end. When you are buying a mutual fund, there are two kinds of mutual funds. One is called as direct mutual fund, and the other is called as regular mutual fund. Now let me just take 2-3 minutes to explain this. I'll then be open up for more questions that are there. So what are regular and direct mutual funds? So suppose Dr. Tanmay is here. Dr. Tanmay is calling himself expert. Dr. Tanmay is expert here, and you are this XYZ. Lots of people that are there from the different parts of the country that want to invest. You are saying that you invest on our behalf, that because I don't know investing. Okay, so what this expert is doing is he is putting this money in stock market. Now what you are doing is this is called as direct plan. Now in regular plan, what happens is you are saying, I don't connect direct to the expert. There is some other person who will connect me to the expert. Now these are the brokers. Now this broker, what they do is they will guide you to the expert, and this expert is going to put the money in stock market. And what they do is, since I am not doing any charity here, this person says I'll charge you 1% extra or a 0.5% extra or a 2% extra. So this money, this extra commission that is there, you can save by investing in direct mutual funds. So this is my second money hack for the day, when I'm telling you that please don't buy regular mutual funds. Okay, it's very easy to buy direct mutual funds. You can directly go on the company's website and buy direct mutual funds, or there are apps like Paytm Money is giving you, ET Money is giving you, Kuvera is there, Grow is there. There are lots of apps. There are lots of apps that are providing you direct mutual funds. Now this 1% doesn't sound big when you are having a capital of 1 lakh. But when you're having a capital of 1 crores, this means 1 lakh rupees. You are giving an expense ratio of 1 lakh rupees for nothing. Okay, so you can bypass this. You can use these apps. You can directly go into company's website and buy those things. So please buy direct mutual funds. This is also another money hack wherein, lots of people lose money. Now, another money hack that I want to tell you is, if you are having a bank account, go and ask your bank account for an auto FD account. Now, what does this auto FD account means? Auto FD is a feature wherein if you are having money over X amount, say a 1 lakh, okay? So whenever your savings account is having more than 1 lakh, you don't need to do anything that more than 1 lakh. Suppose you are having 50,000. So this 50,000, what it does is it becomes automatically FD. Automatically this 50,000 becomes FD. Now this auto FD comes with in a feature that is called as auto sweep in. Now what does this mean? For lazy people like us, I'm telling I have lots of doctors coming in with very big accounts. I have seen a person with 25 lakh rupees sitting in savings account. Why on earth that person is keeping 25 lakh in savings account? I don't have any idea. Okay, keeping 25 lakh in savings account, getting a return of 3%, 3.5%, no use. So this is where auto FD features, it will swipe out the money. You need it, you can take it out any day. The auto sweep in features, what it does is, suppose your minimum account balance for that bank is 20,000. Suppose your minimum bank account balance is 20,000 and you swipe in. Now you go for shopping, you swipe, suppose say 5,000 rupees. 5,000 rupees. Now your money should not go below the minimum bank account balance. So what it does is it will sweep in from this 50k. From this 50k, it will sweep in 5,000 rupees. So 45,000 rupees still is there as FD, and 5,000 you can still sweep in. So isn't it a good way to get a 1.5% extra return that you are having on your account? And trust me, it is those small amount of money that you are going to save, that is going to amass into a big amount of wealth that is there. So this is my another hack. One we talked about mutual funds, direct versus regular. We talked about term insurance wherein you get looted very commonly. The other is an auto FD feature that is there. Okay, so I think I would stop here. If anyone is having any questions, or if time permits, I can go about stock picking as well. But I think the session would get prolonged, and I don't want to bore you people. So I would just stop here. And I think having questions and making it interactive would be beneficial for lots of people. Yeah. I'll see the chat box. So there is one question, like the investments on monthly basis, T1, T2, T3. So these investments are on stocks or mutual funds. So that T3, actually that method that I showed was purely for ELSS. Again, this was the money high that we discussed. This is for purely for ELSS scheme, because I want to utilize that 3 years lock-in period thing. After 3 years, I will redeploy that cash that was there, which finishes the 3-year lock-in period. This is what the context was. I hope this helps.
Sir, few more questions in the chat box.
Yeah, I'm just flipping it. Will we get access to, okay, recording? Okay, recordings. What is the rate of auto FD? Auto FD rate is same as the FD rate that you are getting. Okay, so if you're getting, if a bank is giving a FD rate of 5% or 6%, you'll get the same return that is there. How do you learn more about this? So I have a series on, I have simplified that. So I have a series on YouTube. So it's from the by the name of Tanmay Motiwala. There is a playlist that is there. So I took a series of lectures. It was around 8 or 9 lectures that was there for Indian Association of Pediatric Surgeons. It was for our national body. With our ex-president, we did have long sessions, detailed sessions on everything. This is very brief. We went on for 8 sessions. That recording is there on my YouTube playlist that is there. And there's another live series that I did that is there on that same thing channel, wherein I have uploaded it as episodes. So you can just see the episodes that are there, and you can go on in detail mutual fund picking, how to select mutual funds, what are the criteria that I see, what mutual funds are good, what are the funds that I'm holding, all those things, stock picking, how to read a balance sheet and those things. Yeah. So those things you can see there. And there are some books which I had already suggested. Intelligent Investor is one of them. Letters to Shareholders by Warren Buffett is another book that is good. If you want to learn in Indian perspective, then there is a book by Monica Hallan. I don't remember the exact name. You can search Miss Monica Hallan. It's on managing money. She's really good. We had session together as well on Twitter. There is another book by Mr. Saurabh Mukherjee. It is called as Coffee Can Investing. Those who are into stock picking, that book is really good in Indian perspective. And those who want, you can follow me on Twitter. I'll share the username of mine. So I am currently active only on Twitter because of my time constraints that are there. So therein we have monthly sessions. We do those sessions monthly, wherein we try to simplify it for all the people. I do bring in people who have who are coming on news channels and journalists. Those are there, and I get it simplified for us. So I host the sessions. You can join in. So you can use those resources that are there.
Yeah. Hi. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Tanmay, can I speak?
Yeah. Please, sir.
Yeah. Hi. Good evening, and thank you, Dr. Tanmay, for the opportunity to kind of make a comment. And I must compliment you that being a professional doctor and you picked up something which is completely out of your domain and done an exceptional job. And compliments for the session as well. It was fairly elaborate and good one. I'm sorry, but just to kind of let you know, I've been part of mutual fund industry for last 20 years, and I was pretty intrigued by what you wanted to do and stuff like that. That's the reason why I decided to kind of join in, and I'm extremely delighted that you've covered everything extremely well and complete to the point. One point which I wanted to make, and maybe slightly away from what you had suggested, if you're okay, I would like to.
Please.
Yeah. So I think, and then one of the in chat box I read someone saying that emotions are the biggest enemy in market investing, and I completely agree with that. See, actually, it's not difficult to get the journey started. What is difficult is to hold on to the journey and we have seen in our career over last so many years that most of the people drop off and because of some unfortunate event. And generally what happens is, for an uninitiated investor, it's typically the bull market, which is where they come in. And soon after they come in, they see a 5, 7, 8% drawdown, and they think that markets are always like this and markets are not for them. And they end up quitting the market permanently, right? So which is where this investor behavior becomes a lot more critical to the wealth creation journey than actually the fact that SIPs or so on and so forth have generated wealth. That's one point which is extremely important. And that is where I think the point that I wanted to make is this point that, direct mutual fund is good. It is definitely good for someone who knows what the ailment is and what the medication is, right? It's like, someone suggesting that don't go to a doctor, but go to a medical store and buy a medicine directly. It is great if it is over the counter kind of medicine and people do not know. People know what exactly is the problem, and hence the solution can be simple. But typically, by saving that 1% extra cost, the underlying impact of what all products and how those products are good, bad, ugly becomes very difficult. I'll just give you an actual live example, right? So someone who had a medical health insurance policy and decided to go and buy it from one of these direct platforms, he didn't realize that there are multiple conditions or subclause attached to it. So basically, what he did is he checked what is the room limit. So he found that his eligibility was close to 7,000-8,000 rupees. So he figured out a room which was giving him 6,000 rupees of room rent per day. But when he finally went and claimed the money, he realized that nursing charges, which are standard procedure, right, also become part of the room rent. And hence he ended up paying out on 3 lakh rupees bill. He ended up paying 60,000-70,000 rupees out of his pocket purely because of some bit of communication or understanding of the product, or gap in understanding of the product. And similarly, quite a bit of things can happen in mutual fund, whether it is debt or equity. There will always be times where there can be negative returns, which will lead to a slightly painful experience or some bit of drawdown in the intermediate time frame, and which is where people end up losing money. So a simple suggestion would be, and obviously, I see a lot of doctors here writing that, how do I read, where do I get started and stuff like that. I think it's best to kind of leave this job to a professional and focus, because there are too many complications involved. Just like I cannot be a doctor tomorrow by reading some books. It is difficult for someone to kind of get a complete grasp. Yes, what I agree on one point, that if it is plain simple vanilla index fund that someone wants to buy and keep sipping over a period of next 10, 15, 20 years, yes, then they can might as well go for direct funds, and it makes a lot of sense. So long answer to a small point that you made, but I thought it was important because we see many people committing the mistake of going out at absolutely wrong time because of the lack of understanding of how markets will behave and stuff like that. So that's one point that I wanted to make, but my compliments to you for creating something very, very meaningful.
Thanks a lot. And yeah, my point was on the basis of people who are just doing index investing. So that's what the thing was. Yeah, and rightly pointed out, if anyone is not willing to go into stock investing and still want to get good returns, they can still go for regular mutual funds and have an expert handle their folio. I'm assuming people, I just said it for the people who are not able to manage the money on their own. So yeah, thanks for that.
Sure. Cool. Thank you. And I hope you will take it in the right spirit.
Yeah. It's all good, it's all to help the people out there.
Yes, absolutely true. And also that 6 months money in FD is something which one can possibly look at, say arbitrage, because it's more tax efficient, or possibly overnight funds. Both of them are equally efficient as far as funds are FDs are concerned, and obviously tax efficiency comes in by using arbitrage funds.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Thanks.
If anyone have to clear the doubts, you can unmute yourself and can ask the speaker directly.
Sir, how to join in the debt funds?
So you can just go in and you can select the kind of debt fund that you want, ultra short, short term. There are long term debt funds are also there. So there is another thing, I didn't go into the details because it will confuse you. So you get an indexation benefit if you are there in invested in debt funds for 3 years or more. So that is basically an inflation thing that is there, that gets minus. So you can just use any of the apps that I suggested, or you can just go into the company and you can ask for a debt fund that is there. You can buy it, but those apps, they make it very easy to directly buy and sell at a click. So if I was to park 1 lakh rupees and I want it tomorrow, I would just sell it on a click. I don't want to go to anywhere. So that's what I prefer. And this is how you can have those debt funds.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Yeah. So a very nice session. So thanks a lot for that. So my question is like, I have a lump sum of money with me. So where can I park it for long? I'm saying for 10 years and all.
So this money can be parked in 2 ways. What I follow, and this is not a rule actually. So I didn't miss out on that part wherein we tell about how the rule of thumb is. Again, that rule can vary based on the person's risk appetite. So we say is the total money that you're having is 100 minus age. That should be your equity allocation. So you are 30. If you are a 30-year person, you can have 70% in equity and 30% in debt. Okay, so for 30-year person, 70% equity, 30% debt. Now in debt, what you can do is you can use various fixed income sources. Now this, I prefer using a FD and a long-term debt fund. So some part of my money would be kept in FD, some part would be kept in long-term debt fund. So you select in various debt funds. You can even go for some, PPF or those kind of schemes also. You can consider this if you want at all. I'm not saying like there's no recommendation, but you can select in various fixed income sources that are there. But the best one is if your retirement goal is near, if you had saved money for some goal, then just keep it in FD. That's more than enough.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. And my last question, whether it's the real estate or gold, like, what's your take on it? Real estate and gold? A little take on.
Really nice question. So real estate, I would say, is real estate is a good investment if you understand it. Whatever be the investment, be it real estate, be it equity, be it mutual funds, or whatever you say. Okay, so the risk lies in the person who is handling it. It is not in the asset. So what does it mean is, if you don't understand the asset that is there, then probably you will end up overpaying for the thing that is there. And this is what happened at real estate classically. So what happened was, what my previous generation did, my parents used to think that we should have a house of our own. We should, house is the best investment. Land has never given negative returns. But if you see the returns for quite some years, it has been 3%, 4%, or a 5% return. So you'll have to understand that you need to pay for a real estate only if it is worth it. So how do we calculate it? Is we see what is the potential of a local person that is there. Suppose you have purchased land and you are paying a EMI of 40,000. Okay, I just assuming an example. If you are paying a EMI of 40,000 and the rental yield of that area is only 20,000, no one is going to pay for that property for more than 20,000. Or suppose you are paying a 50,000 EMI or a 60,000 EMI. Now you are paying that extra thing that is there, and most of the times you end up overpaying. So what classical books say is, if EMI is equal to rental yield, then it is a very good investment. Okay, if that is not there, then you are probably overpaying. But if you understand real estate, the other thing is, again, this is not, I'm not saying that people are doing it in black money or what. But in real estate, the liquidity is not there. First thing, if you want to sell, if you need money, you won't get the instant money that is there. So you'll have to go out, you'll wait for the people to sell, to have a buyer there. And the second thing is, lots of times, what happens is the other person that is going to buy the real estate would pay a lot of chunk in black. The hard-earned money that is there, if suppose you purchase a property for 50 lakh and then you are out there to sell the property at 1 CR and that person is paying 50% black. Now 50% is white is what you already had. I'm not saying this is an ideal scenario or this things happens, but this is very common. Let's understand this. Lots of people pay in black, and then your white hard-earned money gets blacked. So these are the things that are a concern to me. But if you can overcome this, then this is what you should take care of. And as far as gold is concerned, I personally see, I understand equity well, which is giving me a great amount of return. So I don't have allocations in gold, but you can have a 10 or 15% allocation, whichever your appetite is, in gold. But gold, per se has more volatility and less amount of return as compared to equity as an asset class. So I would say what I would prefer is, my family, I say that you can have gold as a jewelry, but not as an investment. So if you want to have some jewelry, that is good. But if you want gold as an investment, it is a hedge against inflation. This is what is the classical teaching that is there. So if you want to hedge something against inflation, it was a great return in our age of our parents, because the rupee was, what we do is, when we buy gold, we are actually buying dollar. Gold is pegged against dollar. So you're buying dollar, and at that time the disparity between rupee and dollar was less, and at that time if you purchased it, the value of dollar increased, rupee declined. So you had this deficit that was created, and which created great amount of value. Then that was a great investment at that time. But I don't see it as attractive as an investment right now.
Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks a lot. Thanks.
Yeah, welcome.
We would be winding up this session. Joy sir, anything to add?
No, it was a wonderful session, and at this young age, he's well versed with all these things, and I congratulate him and I appreciate him for the wonderful session, Dr. Tanmay Motiwala.
Thank you, Dr. Tanmay Motiwala, for a wonderful session. So, on behalf of ISA Thrissur and IMA Thrissur, I would like to thank you from the bottom of our heart, and we would like to invite you again for another session, for another enlightening session from you. We are always expecting some another enlightening session from you.
Sure.
So thank you, Tanmay, and thank you, Dr. Joy sir, President IMA Thrissur, and Dr. Sharmila, IMA WDW convener, Dr. J.S.
Chairperson, not convener, chairperson.
Chairperson. Yeah. Sorry, Dr. Nivin, ISA President, and last but not the least, I would like to thank all the participants for spending their valuable time, and I would like to thank the MedPiper, Soumya and team for the wonderful coordination of the event.